Hey everybody, welcome back to another one of my vlogs. Got something exciting to announce before the vlog starts here. Me and Dan have been brainstorming on a new idea for the podcast Before the Echo, and we're going to give it a try. We're going to start live streaming on YouTube from time to time. We're unsure of how often we're going to do it. We're just going to see how it goes. We're going to start it probably next week. So, with that being said, how it works is I schedule a live event on YouTube on my Before the Echo channel, and something that's really important to me and to help me out greatly would be to go and subscribe to that channel, and I'll put a little pop-up here in this intro. What that does is it allows you to get notifications on, hey, Before the Echo is going to go live on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or whatever day and time we decide to do it. What's different about the live event is you guys will actually have a chat box kind of lined up on the right side of the page or the screen, and you'll be able to type questions. I can even bring people in from the audience per se to ask questions live. We can pop up maps on the screen. We can do all kinds of cool stuff. Dan's going to try to be on the show as much as possible, and we may even start having outside people come into the show, and if it gets big enough, and bring them in. We'll do segments. We may talk about certain videos we put up that week and kind of dissect it a little more in depth. Things like that. We're super excited about it. It's something that's going to be really fun. We got to work out a couple of things, like internet connection at my house and Dan's house is not the best, so we're going to test some of that stuff out. But it's happening. We're going to figure it out. It's exciting. So please, guys, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed to Dan's on the Hunting Beast, where we put all of our videos, subscribe to that. The Before the Echo channel is just going to be my podcast stuff. I don't plan on ever switching to putting my videos on there. They'll all be on the Hunting Beast. So if you could, click on the link, subscribe to my channel, and then you'll get notifications on when this stuff is going to start happening. Thanks, guys, for all the support. I'll quit blabbering. Let's get right into the video. Hey everybody, I am officially in the land of the Giants this weekend. I'm in Iowa. I am going to be scouting for my tag I'm hopefully going to draw this year. I'm in Unit 4. It's about as general as I'll tell you where I'm at. I actually do have some private ground I can hunt here, and a guy that I used to work with back at the previous company I worked for, he lived out here. And I knew his family farmed. I wasn't sure like their background, if they all hunted or anything like that. Got a hold of him though, and he's like, yeah, sure, come on out and hunt. I'll give you some farms and hunt. So gonna go and meet him this morning, and then he's gonna take me around to the farms and show them to me. Then I'm gonna scout the farms, see how they look. If they're really good and all that, great. If not, I got some public land picked out also that I'm gonna go and look at it need be. So, yep, let's get there. Here I was supposed to meet the farmer at the grocery store here. He just called it the grocery store, so I'm guessing this little town's probably this is probably the only grocery store in town, I'm hoping. All right, just got done with the farmer. He took me around for about an hour to all of his properties he's gonna let me hunt. Pretty excited. Looks like some good spots. Just gotta get my stuff together and get to walking. This first spot I'm gonna hunt, I'm gonna kind of throw up an aerial video here of it, and it's just looks like some creek bottoms and some crop fields kind of throughout. Not a lot of timber on any of the farms really, but I'm not real worried about that. I think this is not a bad thing at all. So yeah, let's go see what we get into. Pretty much just gonna walk transitions in here until I find what I want to see. All right, I got my bag packed up here. Just grabbed a couple trail cameras and stick and whatnot. So it looks like starting off here, right down in here, little marshy area with some crop fields and whatnot around it. So right off the bat, I'm going to start down in here right next to where I parked at and see what we see. Decent little rub right off the bat here. So the truck's right up there, and right around here's that little swampy area. Just a gap right here, splits the two fields, and then the draw goes around that way and came in here. And right off the bat, 4-finger track in the crossing here, so it's a good sign. I followed this little swamp around here, and the road just right up here. And that buck track that was in the field, I cut it again, going out, or coming out of the field into the swamp here. And actually, it looks like it goes up and then across the field. This doesn't look like a lot right now, but I have a feeling in the fall, you know, this is probably going to be head high and thick and nasty in here. So probably a really good area. I think I'm definitely going to keep this in mind. It's probably a spot that doesn't get much pressure at all because it's right next to the road, right next to the farmer's lane, and has lots of cover. You can see, pull that up, that tree right there is all tore up as well. So, yep, good starting point. Just kept following this little low area along the road here. You can see another giant rub in here, so definitely a spot that it could produce a big deer. I'm a little conflicted because like this feels like a great spot, but it's literally, I haven't been in here for 5 minutes. So if I should just be patient, I guess I can always come back on my way back to the truck and throw a camera up or whatever I want to do before making a decision. I found a spot that I'm definitely going to mark on the map. It's right along the road here, and all through there is where I saw those big rubs, which isn't very far from where I'm standing right now. There's a trail that comes across the road here, and you can see there's a good trail right here, a good trail right there. There's also one that goes down that way and out, and then trail goes there, trail goes down through there. So just a whole bunch of intersections right here, right outside of what looks to be really good bedding. So I'm going to mark this and possibly come in here and put a camera on my way back to the truck if I don't find a better place to put a camera. Just hop down in this little creek here that runs along the property. It's a beautiful creek. I could see there'd be bedding up in here. Really, they could be bedding. I mean, they could bed in these little pockets on these creeks. So this is something I'm kind of keeping an eye on. I mean, there's all kinds of runs going in and out of the creek here, so they definitely use this creek quite a bit. Just turn my camera off talking to you and look down, there's a dead doe. I'm just walking down this field edge now. I made my way, I was way back in there, was where I found that really good sign. I made my way down that creek where we saw the doe dead, and came up through here, and there's actually a ladder stand right here. Decent spot actually, but it's like a lot of doe sign probably, and that buck sign was back there along the road. So so far, right there by the parking lot is my #1 spot. Sorry, I keep clearing my throat. I got a little scratch going on right now. Got down in this creek here just to see what was going on. I thought I saw some areas that looked like it'd be good bedding, and tucked in this little layover here. You can see a bed right in there. Looks like something may have died back in the day. Some really old bones right there. So really good little bed. Something been laying in it. Looks like not that long ago. This area would be fire for the rut. All these creek bottoms that are narrow and thin, I'd say you could probably find you a good intersection where a bunch of the trails come together and kill you a nice one eventually. I was walking this bean field. I just walking down this long fence row right down through here, and there is another ladder stand up there. and there was one back in there too. That one's facing the other property. Still pressure though. The farmer did tell me, you know, there is some people that gun hunt around here, so he didn't. Nobody should be bow hunting it though. So probably a non-factor, but still in my mind, taking notes. I think this would be a hard area right here to kill one with a bow anyway. Just pretty open. Not much to narrow the deer down other than that fence row, but they're crossing it. There's 100 crossings down there, so it'd be a kind of a guess to figure out where exactly they're crossing at. Something got irritated right here. This is a spot that I'm going to mark. I'll show you why. It's on the corner of the property. There's a cornfield over there. This is a bean field. It's just like a section of tree lines that come in together. There's an opening right there. So this tree right here would be a great tree to get up in anytime really. When the crops are up, I could see deer coming right through here to eat in the beans at night or whatever, vice versa if it's corn. It may be a little bit difficult to get in here if the corn was up. I don't really know. I've never been here when the corn's up, so I'm gonna kind of gander around where these rubs are. Holy cow! You can just see them all over in here. It's like a deer got in the middle of them trees and just went crazy. Yeah, mark probably that group of trees right there for a stand, and then get back to the first spot we went to and throw a trail camera up there as well. Okay, I kind of walked all the transitions out in in these fields over here and found lots of good stuff. Found lots of tree stands, which was surprising. Probably found 4 tree stands out there. It looks like there's some pressure out in there along the edges of the property line. There are tree stands on the fence row looking out into the opposite property, so it tells me kind of how probably neighbors hunt quite a bit, which is good. That way, you know, I know this spot that I initially picked out kind of confirms that it's a good spot. So I just got to find a good place to put a trail camera here, and then I'll pick out a tree and go from there. I mean, there's trails everywhere in here, and it's one of the larger areas of what do you want to call woods or whatever you would call it in here. So I'm kind of far from a woods, just like a little creek bottom. But yep. All right, let's figure something out here and get a trail cam up and go to the next property. All right, I picked out my spot here on this property. I'll kind of show you guys. There's a really good run that kind of comes down the tree line right there, and it looks like there's a scrape right there, so I ended up putting my trail camera in that tree right there. It all leads out into these crop fields. The farmer is going to be rotating crops, so out there should be beans next year, out there should be beans, and there'll be corn that way. So I'm thinking with all that good bedding that's back in there and right back in there, all these trails kind of lead around this little hay field that they have out here, or alfalfa field, whatever it is, and goes back out into those crop fields at night or into the creeks. So you can see there's that trail right there I just showed you, a good trail through there going back into that bedding. This trail continues, goes out that way. This one goes up into those crop fields, and then there's quite a few other ones back up in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to sit and mark that tree right there, or that one right over there. So if I have something out of the east, I'll set in that tree, and then if I have something kind of out of the west or out of the south, I'll set in that tree right over there. And just trying to give myself a couple of options for wind direction. And I could also set right there with a north wind, I guess, but pretty much anything but northwest wouldn't be good for this spot. But something I'll have to think about later, and lots of options for trees in here, so it's not that big of a deal. Pick out something once I see the foliage up and see what I can see. So, yep, I think it's a good spot. I gotta probably what I'll end up doing, instead of parking, my truck is just right there. Instead of parking there, I'll probably park down the road and walk in, just so I don't park right there and spook anything out of here that would be bedding. All right, on to the next spot. Well, just stopped back by the truck here and made me some food and ate and got re-energized. So I'm now going to go to a different farm, which is literally right across the road here. I was down in here this morning, and I ended up putting that trail camera right along the road here. Just, I don't know, I'm probably 100 yards from it right now. So I'm gonna go walk across the road. This spot, I don't know how I feel about it yet. The farmer said they do put cattle in here from time to time, and the whole thing is a pasture, so could be good, could be not so good. Scouting here across the road from another property, and it looked pretty good, and then I walked up on this rangefinder. I'd say someone been here hunting, been here a while. Dead or broken, one of the two. Just up in this little pine thicket here. There's the draws right down here. I was walking kind of parallel on the draw, and nice rub here on this tree. The unknown of this farm is the cows. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on it, because there's definitely big rubs and big deer sign in here. I just don't know how I feel about cows yet. I've honestly never hunted a, oh, look here. Trail camera. So after I saw that trail camera, my GoPro kind of glitched and I couldn't turn it on for a little while, but I walked the property line, and there's a crop field right back in there, and I'm on this kind of rolling hills kind of area. There was 2 tree stands up by that crop field, kind of on this ridge, a lock-on and a ladder stand. And I was just going to follow it back, kind of these ridges back towards the truck, and came across a pretty nice rub right there. There's also one right back there, but couldn't get my GoPro to turn on again. I had to take it apart and put it back together, but it's the struggles of filming. Wasted 10 minutes fixing my GoPro. But I'm just going to walk this back. I don't know what I think about this property. There's some decent sign, but there's also a trail camera, a rangefinder, 3 or 4. Oh gosh, a bird just about flew into my face. Came around that corner. It must have been coming around at the same time, and about flew into me. But yeah, see what I think, kind of making my circle back. It's a cool place. I could see there being a big deer in here, but I could also see folks being in here. So, don't know yet. Well, on this property there's a bluff right here. I went and walked on the other side up there, and it's super open, and there wasn't sign hardly at all. Everything's on this side of the bluff where that trail camera was and those 2 tree stands. But I talked to the farmer, and he's like, you know, his cousin's gun hunted, and I think that's their probably their stuff. So I think it's gonna be worth me throwing a camera up right here. I'm gonna decide where I'm gonna put it at and show you, but just because if it only gets gun pressure, I think Iowa's gun season's in December. That's a lot of time before things start rolling, and I'll have a lot of time to get in here and kill a big one if there is one in here. And it seems like there is, according to the sign I'm seeing in here. So that's the plan. I think it's worth throwing a camera in. I can come in here pretty quick and get it if it's not, so or if nothing's showing up. But, all right, let's go do it. Now the reason I think probably gun pressure. Looky there, good old slug. Brings back memories. Wasn't that long ago in Indiana, a slug gun is all you could use also, or a muzzleloader. The rules changed, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago now, but good memories using these running around the woods. Came back up here around slider stand right here. And after looking at it, its straps are kind of grown into the tree and all that, and then another shotgun shells around it all over the place. It's in a decent spot. There's a crop field right over there, right behind it. That's on the other property, the crop field is, but decent bedding down in there. I think I'm gonna kind of jump down into that bedding and look around a little bit. I mean, this is probably a good spot, but I think if for a better chance of killing a big one, let me crawl down in here. So right there's another lock on right here. That's been in there for a while. Those, I mean, it's a homemade deal, first of all, and then second of all, those straps are tight on that tree. It's a pretty intriguing spot though. It's in this low area here. There's some scrapes right here underneath this. I don't know what kind of tree that is. That's an young Osage. I don't think it is, but scrapes here, here, here. And then when I was walking into this spot, you could see nice rub right there. So I think this is probably a pretty good spot. There's a pond right back here also. You can probably see it right there. I'm gonna just keep walking a little farther down this way and see maybe where they're coming from. And then I may put a trail camera up over these scrapes right here, because I'm assuming they're gonna keep using those as the year goes on. I'm running, put my trail cameras, they are cell cameras, and I put them on like the highest delay, so that I only get like, you know, it's only able to take one picture a day essentially, and the delay time is 20 hours or something like that. So I made those settings like that. That way my batteries hopefully won't die before season gets here. It's kind of a chance I'm taking, but it was the best idea I had. Oh dang, here's a dead deer. To be honest with you, I've seen a lot of dead deer here. Probably 5 now. I haven't filmed all of them, but all right. So there's definitely some bedding behind me over here, and lots and lots of deer sign in this particular area. I walked down in this area over there in the corner of the properties. It's probably 200 yards over there, and there's a bunch. There's a little bit of sign over there, but there's a bunch of deer sign coming off this ridge right here, and then filtering down into here. And it seems like they all want to come right down through here, and then back in here to what I think is the bedding area back in there. They also could be, I mean, there's probably bedding up there on the neighbors, but there's definitely food up on the neighbors that way. So I'm hoping that they're bedding back in here. I can circle around, get in here for a hunt, set up in one of those trees right up there. And then I'm going to put my trail camera. I'll probably trim a couple of these limbs on this this tree right here, and have it facing down over these scrapes right there. And I think eventually this summer they'll start opening those up. They're probably checking them right now, honestly. So, all right, got a little work ahead of me, so I'm going to get that done real quick. I'm kind of down here in this little bedding area now, probably 80 yards from that trail camera. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's a giant rub right there, big rub right there, and then on this trail here, there's a big rub at the end of it too, right there. So I like this spot. I think the more I think about those tree stands, the less I worry about them. It's more than likely the cousins of the farmer. So yep. You may be wondering, I guess, why I'm keep talking about putting cameras over scrapes, and it just seems like I find it's the best option to get a good inventory of the bucks that are in your area. Especially like with what I got going on now, I can't put bait out, I can't do any of that kind of stuff here. I don't know the land good enough to like get the absolute perfect pinch points. I don't really have time this trip to figure all that out, but I think if I'm buzzing around, getting a feel for where the deer are bedding at on the properties, and then getting a visual on them on one of those scrapes outside of the bedding. Then I can kind of decide like, hey, this deer's going this way or that way, or he's here often, he's not here often, things like that. It's just kind of in my mind, or what I can think of, is the best scenario for what I got going on. Like these draws here, I'm down in the draw right now. I'll show them these really steep draws. I guess they're pretty common here in Iowa. I know the deer are probably bedding in here and using this, but there's no way putting a trail camera in here. I don't really need a trail camera in here. I just want to get an idea of the deer that are in the area. There's enough sign on the ground that I can tell where the deer are or not and all that. So yeah, I don't know if I explained anything there, but get to listen to me jabber for a minute or so. Well, I just climbed out of that draw. I guess I should talk about like my goal of this trip. And whenever I come to these places like this and set these trail cameras up, I'm really, I don't know, in my mind, I'm not really trying to figure out exactly the tree I want to set in. I will sometimes, if it's that good of an area or some like really perfect spot, you know, but a lot of times it's not. And, you know, I'm probably not going to be hunting a specific buck when I'm out here for a week. It's probably going to be, hopefully there's a few good deer running around that I'll be able to chase. So I really just get some trail cameras out. I get a feel for the land I'm going to be hunting, and then I rely heavily on my scouting in season when I'm walking in. I'll have some like right in, on this particular property. I'll probably walk in here. I'll come over this. I'll park down here. I'll come over this ridge. I'll probably go, there's some crop fields back in there. I'll probably come around and kind of walk the outside of them crop fields, knowing that, hey, there's bedding down in here, and then there's bedding on the top or on the other side. And I'll just scout in and look for, you know, fresh sign coming in. Hopefully that camera I have over that scrape's going to tell me if there are good deer in the area. And then from there, I'll either make a decision to set, you know, point A or point B. I didn't mark a tree on this particular spot. I was looking around. There really was plenty of options for trees, so I didn't feel like I needed to. I think it's better off like not wasting your time finding a tree right off the bat in areas like that, because when you get here in October or November, whenever I'm going to come, you know, it's going to look a lot different, and then I'll just in my mind, I get frustrated like with things like that. So I don't bother with it anymore. I just make a decision whenever I get there. Here I can cut a couple limbs if I need to, or snip a couple limbs, and then I'll be good to go. Now, don't take that for gospel, because I'm wrong on a lot of that stuff. Like, it's some of my quirks I have in my mind, but just thought I'd let you guys know, like, if you get to that point and you get frustrated with picking a tree out and stuff, don't pick one out. Wait till you get in here to hunt. When you're hunting marshes or swamps, it seems like it's a little easier to pick out a certain tree to set in, because a lot of times you know exactly where the buck is bedding, just because the options are pretty limited on where they'll bed. I'm sure there's specific beds in there bucks like to bed in, but I don't have enough time, or I guess the real need to find exactly where that buck is bedding in, or a buck is bedding in that thicket in there. I just know I'm probably not gonna get in there real close into him. A lot of the reason is because of those pines in there. You wouldn't be able to shoot if you got inside those pines. And then secondly, I think he'll move outside of those pines in daylight hours into that little open area easy enough. Especially, that's literally the only scrape I found in there. So, and it's real close to bedding, which is a good combination. All right, I'm on farm number 3 now. This is a pretty big farm. Tell you how many acres it is. 117. So a lot of it's some pasture and whatnot that probably isn't worth looking at. Sorry if the wind is loud. It's a little bit windy right now. But there are also some crops and some draws, and that's probably where I'm gonna go look first, is these draws. And then if I don't find what I'm looking for, kind of make my way around the edges of the crop fields and work my way back. Not a lot of, I don't know how much cover's on the farm is the only problem. So we're gonna find out though. I was walking down the road here, trying to get back to where the farmer kind of hinted to me back in there where he thought it'd be better. Walking along the road and just look down to my left, and then there's a really big, nice rub on that tree. And it's like there's one down there too. Goes down into down to that little river bottom down there. So I'm definitely gonna hit this spot on the way back, but I want to get back to that far spot and work my way back. Get off track and try to stay with my plan here. Well, I made it back to the back portion of the property. It's kind of split up into two properties that butt up to each other, and walking down the farmer's trail here, just kind of getting where I was going. And nice 4-finger track in the dirt here, so it's a good sign. There's quite a bit of ground here, actually, more than I thought. This is probably going to take me the rest of the day to get this thing scouted out and figure it out, so it'll be fun. So I got some friends coming to see me. Maybe not. The little ones are curious. The big ones don't really care to come visit. Finally spooked some deer. It's the first deer I've seen today. Second group of does, probably. I guess where they were bedding down in the little ravine. All right, I followed this field edge all the way back to the back here, and I'm going to try to get through this low area, or this drainage right through here. It's pretty steep up and down. I'd say it keeps the cattle and the horses and everything else they have in here out of that woods in there, and that's where all the deer were. I wanted to show you this though, just to get you excited. Pretty nice rub. Now, I've seen or heard people talk about pastures in both manners, that sometimes deer don't like cows and sometimes they don't care about them. So it probably just depends on kind of personality of the deer. But it's a dead. There we go. But all right, let's figure out how to get around here, and you can see what I mean by it's kind of like a deep little creek or whatever you want to call it. And all those does are bedding up on top here. There's a big ridge that runs that way, and then on the other side of the ridge is the property too. It ended up being a pretty big piece. The second piece here is 158 acres, so mostly filled, but there is some timber and stuff on it I got to get through. So, all right. So I kind of buzzed through that woods there, and I don't know. It's really open in there. I didn't really see any good reason why a big buck would live in there, and I decided to drop down into this other low area that's kind of on the other side of the property in the back. And as soon as I crest the hill, I could see this rub on the edge of the low area here, and it looks like there's a heck of a trail going into it. So I think I'm going to kind of follow that in there. Hopefully it's not another horse or cow pasture trail. There's some deer poop on it, so see where it takes me here. There's another good rub right here. Nothing crazy, but pretty decent size rub. Well, I found my first Iowa deadhead here. Really go. Makes a lot of dead deer on this farm, but I don't know. I'm a little concerned about this particular farm. It's just not a lot of thick areas, not a lot of I mean, there's some big buck sign, but it seems like maybe it's just rut activity, which is all fine and dandy if I come during the rut, but I don't know when I'm going to come yet. So got to keep on putting the feet to the ground, get a few more spots picked out, and that'll be good enough. I think that spot I found up by the truck might be a little better of a bedding area than anything back in here. I for sure think does and stuff are living on that hillside over there, but nothing I saw on that in that hillside where I jumped those does really screamed like a big mature buck would want to live there on the regular. Jumped a coyote out of this little thicket here. Little finger that goes out into the crop fields. I guess while I turn this thing on, I might as well tell you guys what I got going on here. There was a cornfield that kind of touches the east side of this property, and I noticed there's this little woods in the corner that looked really good. And honestly, I got in here and it's covered with cow patties and whatnot. So I think the cows have kind of been in here an awful lot this year. And I would think that if the deer lived in here, like this area right here would have all kinds of rubs and stuff in it. But there's not hardly anything, and you can see the cows have been laying in here. So yeah, they may have, I mean, obviously they didn't have these cows in here when this corn was in here, so it may be all after season stuff, but for some reason there's not any real good sign in this particular area. So not like the sign that I saw up front. I just was thinking, like, it just doesn't matter where you're at, Michigan or Iowa, the deer like to be in non-botherable areas. So I think I'm gonna kind of make my way back up to the front of the property and start looking there along the tractor path coming back here. All right, decided to leave that farm and come over to this one last spot for the day. I got about maybe an hour and a half of daylight left. I can pretty much show you this farm from right here. I think you can see it's just a draw that goes into a CRP field over there. That CRP field is the property line from what I was told. I had to check it, double check it on Onyx here, but it should be a quick little scout. Just gonna walk this draw and see what I see. The farmer said he sees a lot of deer right here, so I'm sure he does. It seems like a good spot for deer to come out into this cornfield and eat. I just walked to the end of this creek line or whatever little draw here. It's just full of like these, I think they're mulberry trees and then big cottonwoods. And then that CRP field's right here. That's another guy's land. And you can see there's a couple of real nice trails coming through here. There's actually a bed right here. It looks like it's a pretty good sized bed. The crops, they say they'll rotate them this year. So this field should be beans. And I'm gonna kind of pop out into this cornfield and kind of look and see what it looks like. This looks like a little hidden corner back here maybe. And if so, I'm gonna go ahead and put a trail camera up here. And hopefully some big bucks will be coming out here maybe in the early season or something. Just hopped out here in the cornfield and checking tracks, and there's a big old track right there. There's also quite a few nice rubs on these trees right through here, so it looks like everything we might be bedding back here in the CRP and then coming through here and coming out in this field at night to feed. So it's a cool area for sure. The only problem is they got to make it to this field before daylight to shoot them, obviously, because can't really go into that CRP field. At least I don't think I can. The name is wrong on the Onyx property owner feature. So yeah, this is definitely a good corner with all kinds of good stuff right here. All right, kind of changed my mind here. I was thinking about putting it in this corner right over here. And actually, I think I'm going to put it in this little tree right here, facing the corner. for one, that's kind of south, so I don't have to worry about, you know, a westerly facing trail camera getting bad pictures. And then for two, I think they're crossing the fence right here an awful lot. And then I'll still get pictures of all the deer coming through here and deer coming around that corner and all that. I always get, I always have like reservations about spots to put trail cameras because there's so many good ones, but that's a good thing, I guess, to be picky. So I can show you guys kind of where they're, you can see where they come through that field and jump right here. So yeah, I haven't decided 100%, but that's kind of what I'm leaning on right now. You know, the Iowa tag, it takes essentially 5 years to get it now, and then who knows, in another 5 years, that 5 years may be 6 or 7 years with the point creep, and I really want to make sure I make the most out of it. That's kind of why I work pretty hard on getting some private land to hunt in Iowa. Yeah, haven't found any sheds yet today, which is surprising to me, honestly. I haven't been looking real hard though. I've been really concentrating on covering ground and haven't been like grid searching for deer sheds. Up pretty close to the farmer's house, actually. It's just right there, and looks like an old scrape right here. Not that old really. Used it a little bit. You can see it comes along here and a looking branch. Ain't really a good place to put a camera over it at all, actually. But I'm gonna mark it on my Onyx just to have.